private or public, I'll be surprised if it's more than 10, less than 10, which have been accredited to the ISO 15189. It will be less than 10.
And in business, strong performance from agri sector helped the economy record a marginal growth of 0.4% for last year. We have details on how the sectors fared in the pandemic era.
Build more boxing gyms outside Accra.
We have that and more here on tonight's edition of Newsnight. You want to join us with your thoughts and comments? It's via WhatsApp 055-1111-997. You can also tweet at us.
Mensah. We'll start obviously with the deputy ministerial list that we're all beginning to make sense of. And Emefa tonight, we know that there is a massive clear out of former deputy ministers in the president's first term. Out of the 39 deputy ministers that we've counted, as many as 31 are new faces. Only 8 have managed to maintain their slots from the first term. And if you also look at that, the president is also, in terms of percentage-wise, appointed more members now from Parliament. I think 69% of the current deputy ministers are from Parliament. If you look at the ministers not from Parliament, we're talking about 30%. That have been talking about both substantive and deputies. Many look at that and say this may be significant. I want to bring in Dr. Asante, Senior Lecturer, University of Ghana. Hello, Dr. Asante. Can you hear me?
Hello?
Can you hear me, Dr. Asante?
Even the line is very, very faint.
Can you hear me? Is it better?
Hello?
Yes. Is it better?
I will manage.
Okay, great.
Let's go ahead.
Let's see. I mean, we see that there's a reduction. Let's start from there. There's a reduction in the numbers of the president's appointees now. It used to be in the highs of 120 plus. Now we're talking about 86, a reduction of 40. Your reaction to that?
I think it's a good thing. All that you need is people who share in the president's vision and who are team players and who support the minister to deliver what is promised. That's it. So the numbers, if the president was able to work it down a little bit, yes, that would be fine. But what we have now, I think we can make do with it and work.
Actual numbers from Parliament. Right now we have 57 of his appointees now from Parliament, compared to what it used to be in the first term, where they had 68 of them. And we've done some percentages on this. So we're talking about the percentage of numbers you're hearing?
You know, there's always a good reason why they appoint people that way. One is to make sure that if you look at the current composition of Parliament, you obviously need people who will be very committed to the activities of Parliament or the work of Parliament. So that is why you are seeing more deputy ministers from Parliament and more ministers, so that, yes, you have no excuse absenting yourself and all that. So when it comes to voting, you are ready and you are better ready to be able to help the president to deliver. That's one of the considerations. Of course, we are also seeing new faces, a lot of new faces in the system. In political appointment or reshuffles, what we do is that when you have new faces, then there is the need, or the president has seen the need to inject vibrancy into the system. Another consideration is that you want the young people to learn the ropes of governance so that you prepare them for higher appointment. So perhaps this could be one of the reasons that have influenced the position of the president.
I mean, but what about the counter argument that if the more you requirement, but don't overstretch it, because if you do, you'll not have a lot of your appointees in the house when you need them in a situation where you need to vote, for example.
You have more people. Of course, the constitution doesn't allow you to appoint more people outside Parliament. But if you want to have an increase in numbers of those who are coming from outside to ministerial position, then you are, creating a situation where sometimes it's difficult to compel them to, take part in voting and all that. But if you are a minister or a deputy minister, for that matter, you are duty bound to be there and then vote in support of this. And of course, some people will also learn from the experiences of the previous leaders and At the end of the day, who knows? If you are able to listen to the focus and direction of your party, who knows, one day you become a minister. So it is a strategy that the...
Thank you very much, Dr. Sasante, Senior Lecturer with the University of Ghana Political Science Department. And I'm delighted to say that I've just been joined on the line right now by the Minister for Parliamentary Affairs. He's also the Majority Leader, Mr. Osei Mensah Bonsu. Mr. Mensah Bonsu, thank you for your time here on Newsnight. So the full list now is out. What's the plan in terms of when Parliament will consider and vet the latest list?
Thanks to you once again, and also extend my greetings to your listeners. Before Parliament adjourns, who then will have to announce it to Parliament sitting in plenary. That is the arrangement. Unfortunately, we were recessing, and so we resolved and vested the authority in the Speaker, such that once he had the communication, he wouldn't have to wait for plenary, but he would refer the list to the Appointments Committee once he has. The Appointment Committee then would make all the arrangements with respect to the 2-week advertisement that they do relating to the various nominees, so that anybody who has any comments, any statements, any petition about anybody would submit same to the committee. And the committee drafter would program to begin the hearing, the public hearing. We thought that the committee, after that, would be able to begin the hearing in the recess period, such that when we resumed, would be in a position to do the approval or disapproval of the nominees. So that was the initial program. Subsequently, we had to amend same because our colleagues, the Muslims amongst us, who have begun their Eid, the Ramadan, gave an indication that it was going to be difficult to combine the two. So it does appear that what the committee would have to do is to do the necessary arrangements leading to advertisements and do the programming for the hearing. Hearing then will commence in earnest once we resume, most probably 18th of May. So they'll begin either 18th, the very day, or 19th of May. That's the arrangement.
But can the Speaker make a referral to the Appointments Committee in the absence of a plenary sitting?
That's exactly what I'm explaining. The Parliament resolved to vest that authority in the Speaker. We did so before we adjourned. So that is what we ourselves did. And the Speaker then is close to the authority to do the referral to the Appointment Committee, even though Parliament will not be in plenary.
I'm grateful, Mr. James Abonsu.
Thank you for having me.
And that's the Minister for Parliamentary Affairs speaking to us on the appointment. And so you can expect this to happen most likely 19th or 18th of May. Let's do some politics now, Emefa.
And tonight, the National Democratic Congress has refused to attend an inter-party advisory committee. That's an IPAC meeting scheduled by the Electoral Commission to review the 2020 election. So they cite what they describe as a lack of candor, odious duplicity, and open bias displayed by the Commission. We have a copy of that statement issued by the General Secretary of the NDC, Johnson Asiedu Nketia. I'll read portions of that statement to you whilst we work the lines also to bring in the Deputy General Secretary of the NDC, Peter Tokuno. So the statement said the National Democratic Congress declined an invitation by the Electoral Commission of Ghana to attend an IPAC meeting to review the 2020 parliamentary and presidential elections, which was scheduled for today, Wednesday, 21st April 2020. The statement goes on to say the party took this decision because of the lack of candor, like I was saying, displayed by the Jean Mensah-led Electoral Commission in favor of the New Patriotic Party in the conduct of the 2020 general elections.
I mean, he also talks about the involvement of the current leadership. It says it's a considered view of the NDC that the current leadership of the Electoral Commission, who supervised the, I'm quoting here, the manipulation of the 2020 general elections and the stolen verdict that resulted from same, lacked the integrity, credibility, and impartiality to lead any such discussions or review of the very elections they rigged. These are all lifted from the NDC's statement. And that is the basis of the statement that was issued today. And they say they have thoroughly examined the dubious role, quote, that Jim Mensah-led Electoral Commission played in the rigging of the 2020 elections. And that moving forward, the party shall review its working relationship with the electoral management body and take appropriate steps to forestall the rigging of any future elections in the country. So that is the NDC there talking about reassessing and reevaluating its relationship with the Electoral Commission. What that will look like, nobody knows. But the first, I guess, the first blow has been thrown when it comes to this matter.
And Peter Boamo Tokuno, the Deputy General Secretary of the NDC, joins us on the phone. Thank you very much for your time here on Newsnight. So the very last portion, I need some clarity to. Moving forward, the party shall review its working relationship with the electoral management body. How exactly do you mean? Okay, it appears we don't have Peter Boamo Tokuno on the phone. Would rework the lines and get him back shortly. That's the statement issued by the General Secretary of the NDC, Johnson Asiedu Nketia. But we move on to some other stories.
Yeah, tonight it is emerging that less than 10 medical laboratories out of the over 2,000 we have in Ghana have obtained the International Standard Organization ISO certification.
But we'll tell you more about that because most of them, we are told, have not obtained it. But first, police at Kaswa have arrested 40 suspected criminals in a swoop. Now, this was after traditional authorities summoned police chiefs and other security agencies in the area to answer questions about their failure to fight increasing criminal activities there. Correspondent Richard Kojonyako, together with Maxwell Agbagba, have been highlighting the insecurity situation at Kaswa and environs as part of our series that we've embarked on. But here's Richard Kojonyako's report on today's swoop.
The traditional authorities at Kaswa say they have taken notice of the happenings in the area. They say the summoning of the security chiefs in the area is a way to find a lasting solution to the developments that have plagued the area. Spokesperson for the Dupont of our core traditional council, Dr. Obinya Kotua, intimated there was a pressing need to deal with the situation before it gets out of hand.
Service commanders, armed robbery, car snatching, motorbike snatching, etc. has become too much. You are the security experts in this municipality. Would like to plead with you to help combat this unfortunate situation. It has become a norm that wherever you go, wherever you pass, you see the stats, you see these unfortunate people harassing people. Nai Odupong sent us here to make it clear to you that what is going on in his municipality is unfortunate and is uncalled for, and it doesn't back it. Therefore, something must be done about it.
The Kaswa Divisional Police Commander, Chief Superintendent Charles Ampim Kosunu, says the police would work hard to address the concerns of the chiefs, and currently 40 suspected criminals have been arrested in a swoop, and the police are after many more of such persons.
The concern they show about crime fighting, this has shown that together we can fight crime. And we have told them what we are doing, the plans we have put in place to fight crime. I told them about the fact that we have increased our snapchat for both day and night. We have intensified our patrols for about 1 week now, intensive swoops, and a lot of criminals have been arrested. But we have put a lot of things in place to make sure that the crime situation in Kaswa will come down. You know, there are landgrass in Kaswa. We'll do our best to bring the situation under control. And the National Headquarters and the Regional Commander, after 1 month, they rotate them. And they are here to increase our strength, to increase our strategies, and how we will come together and combat crime.
MCE for Kaswa, Michael Yawesuman Mensah, on his part is asking for the support of residents as they rally round the clock to tackle the challenge. He indicated the Kaswa population keeps growing and there was a need to re-strategize to fight the crime in the area.
The crime is reducing per our records, but crime happens elsewhere and they say it's Kaswa. That is what is confusing the public. However, we have increased the bills of the accommodation and feeding and so on. And so the operation is a continuous process. We are always on it. But I want to assure the citizenry that everybody must go about their duties without fear. Because the reportage also put fears in people. We must all go about our duties without fear.
There is currently Richard Kwejunyako, Joy News.
So that's Richard Kojonyako's report there. But we stay on current developments in Kaswa on TV. At least that's what the chat sheet says. And this single incident has become a wake-up call to the entire nation on the need to sanitize our broadcast space.
Well, since then, we know that a series of actions have now the content regulations, including what they describe as offensive content. We know on the back of that, there have been some arrests in the last 24 hours, including the arrest of some spiritualists and operators of TV stations who profess to double money. It includes the owner of the Tanda and Ice One television, Patience Asiedua, and she's popularly known as Nana Agrada. Was transferred to security intelligence operatives, have also moved in to shut down up to 49 of these stations which are operating illegally.
Well, Benis Abubedu Lansa joins us in studio with a copy of that statement put out by the National Communications Authority. Benis, walk us through some of these stations that the NCA is moving in to shut down.
So we have Bok TV, there's OK TV, there's Cash TV and Lion TV, and Kiss TV. These are owned by TV2 Networks and TV2 Network Limited. It's quite a list there, but we also have Ion TV and Kweku Bonsam TV, owned by Kofi O. Kofi. But the NCA is giving us reasons, CAS monitoring system and the radio spectrum monitoring system. Now, the NCA says the monitoring revealed that some channels were operating without valid authorizations, contrary to Section 2.4 of the Electronic Communications Act 775 of 2008, and it states that except as provided by this Act, or any other law not inconsistent with this Act, a person shall not operate a broadcasting system or provide a broadcasting service without a frequency authorization by the authority, and is also using this opportunity to caution television owners to always ensure that their licenses and authorizations are always up to date and in compliance with the stated terms and conditions.
Interesting. But Evans, do you know about Sikagari? Have you heard Sikagari?
I have
before?
not.
Do you know about Nana Agrada?
I heard it for the first time today.
Thankfully, Benis is still with us in the studio. She's been monitoring her activities over the period. Benis,
because
please.
she's one of those arrested today.
Yes, exactly. Benis, tell us what you discovered about Nana Agrada.
Okay, so she's a self-styled fetish priestess, okay, and she promises spiritual help to people, including the Sikagari you talk about, which is money doubling. And she's appeared a number of times on her TV stations claiming to chant bundles of money. Now, her life in limelight is interesting because Emefa, she's not your typical chief priestess, because she's out there to, what you term as a slay queen, and she's always flaunting her cars, her clothing, her shoes, and that we know that's not typical of priestesses. But there's also the controversy around her. Quite recently, we had a woman who claims that she went to her for this Sikagari, and unfortunately, she didn't receive the money, and a series of events led to the death of a child, and that prompted a lot of people who claim they've been to her and not received what she promised, and they came out to ask for her arrest and all that. But she's also interesting because of, her personal life. She's married to a pastor. And a lot of people find that quite strange because, Christianity and African traditional religion do not tally. And so there have been a lot of reactions to that. She also appeared in Glorical Chief Priestess. She's just quite an interesting character. She's also an actress, and she's appeared in a number of movies and, acted alongside a Jack Cohn.
And she was operating a television station.
Two, actually.
Two television stations.
Yes.
The names are...
Tanda TV.
And Ice One.
Ice One.
And Ice One. Of course, Tanda TV is Tanda in Chi is Agrada. So that's what the name comes from. And she's been picked up tonight. His action to be taken is a key question. Obviously, this has been triggered by the death of the 10-year-old boy, and what police say was inspired by watching of television where people were promising to double money, etc. Benis, thank you very much.
Pleasure.
And you know what they say? They say when you say Sikagari, you say Udine too. You know how Gary certification, that's according to the Ghana Standards Authority as it begins to clamp down on these activities. But before we go on that break, we'll go on the break, and when we return, we'll go back to that NDC statement, and we're joined on the line by the Deputy General Secretary of the NDC, Peter Boamo Otokono.
reports. I for come and post say in clients come, but I don't get credit on my phone. I beg, I go for use your phone.
I'm laughing like killer. In this day and age, your excuse for not making that call is that you don't have credit. 100% bonus anytime you buy credit via Vodafone Cash or Vodafone Credit Transfer. It's like you didn't hear me well. 100%, 100%, 100%, 100%, 500%. Hey, my friend, you don't have an excuse, oh. Excuse no shit. Dial *110# or visit the nearest credit transfer vendor to buy credit because 500% bonus. Vodafone.
Ready?
Let me explain in here. I'm a mistake where I use cement for all your projects. That's why Gassem, with 50 years experience, want to develop various greater. What are your various jobs? What was super rapid 32.5 hours? Oh no, you're suitable for your dream house. As your screening or Daduchi, Nazi or plastering, oh man, perfect finish. Gassem, what was super strong 42.5 hours? Or your best suited for slabs, pavement blocks, Nasezicho blocks, Nankasa, Hache pump. For the biggest construction works like roads, bridges, on your high-rise buildings, contractor and use Gassem Extra 42.5N.
Gassem, the nation builder. Popcorn, check. Sobolo, check. Showmax, check. Now, let the entertainment begin. Yes, this be all you need to turn your home into scene on movies like Cartel, 21 Bridges, series like Dede, LA's Finest, Kids Shows, La Liga, EPL, Serie A, from Super Sports and many more. Sign up today. Visit showmax.com.
Welcome back and thanks for staying with us here on Newsnight. Before the break, I told you about the NDC statement. It was the very first thing that we did. We talked about that statement and thankfully the Deputy General Secretary of the... Thank you very much for your time here on Newsnight, Mr. Buamoto Kuno. So I was asking earlier about portions of that statement. In fact, the concluding portions that says that moving forward, the party shall review its working relationship with the electoral management body after refusing to attend an IPAC meeting today. First off, I would want to get an understanding, some clarity on this working relationship and what exactly you're going to review.
Well, first of all, we received the invitation letter to the IPAC with a little surprise because we didn't expect that the Electoral Commission elections, especially as they derelicted on their responsibility to defend what they handled or what they conducted in 2020 as an elections at the Supreme Court. We were a bit surprised. So we decided to ask some few questions. I mean, why will you call us to review elections that you claim, you did nothing wrong and you are not ready to discuss, the outcomes with anybody in the Supreme Court? What at all would you want to discuss on that? Meanwhile, we have raised various concerns in the run-up to the elections, during the elections, and after the elections. And so we decided that we would not participate. But we have also taken steps to review the dubious role the Electoral Commission played in manipulating the elections in favor of the MPP. And we have come to a firm conclusion that this Electoral Commission not only is duplicitous and complicit, but also lacks candor to invite anybody.
But this description of yours, Mr. Otokuno, a Supreme Court decision. Yes, we've heard the NDC say you disagree to a large extent with the Supreme Court on this. But how long are you hoping to, have this kind of relationship with the Electoral Commission, knowing that they're going to organize another election in 2024? Are you boycotting the EC? What exactly is the decision of the NDC?
So that is exactly true. But be that as it may, we have decided to move on. Now, moving on means that reviewing the role and identifying the exact role that the Electoral Commission played in the manipulation of the results. And for that matter, you would have to put in corrective measures that will prevent the Electoral Commission from doing same in future. And that is exactly what we are doing. We have indicated in this statement that we will review our working relationship with the Electoral Commission, and in due course we will make pronouncements on that. But whilst at it, we have assured our people that we will take every appropriate measure possible to make sure that what the Electoral Commission did in the 2020 elections will not be repeated in 2024.
So we know that there will be a series of meetings after today's IPAC meeting. Is it that the NDC, whilst reviewing this working relationship, will not attend
the boycotts? We are boycotting this particular meeting because we think that we cannot sit to discuss the outcomes of the 2020 elections with the Electoral Commission that exhibited partiality, bias, conduct of the process, that exhibited lack of transparency. We cannot have that discussion with the Electoral Commission on it. Maybe in future, as we move on, or other equally important things that are leading to the election 2024 would get our presence, but not this particular one.
Well, thank you very much. That's Peter Boama Otokuno, the Deputy General Secretary of the NDC, giving us some more clarity on that decision that they've taken as a party. So today they declined that invitation of the Electoral Commission to attend an IPAC meeting. Let's do business now with George Riafe here on Newsnight. Hello, George.
Hi, Emefa, and coming up in business, strong performance from agri sector helped the economy record marginal growth of 0.4% for last year, as we have details on how other sectors fared in the wake of the pandemic. And the agri minister is allaying fears that Ghana's cocoa exports is under threat following China's entry into that space. And stationery, your number one stop shop for all your office essentials, and Allianz Life.
Hey, my phone is broken.
We've all been here before. The moment when your heart literally stops beating and you see your entire social life and savings flash before your eyes. Yep. Your phone just fell and you are frozen in fear, awaiting the post-mortem reports to find out just how badly your phone is damaged. But now, you no longer have to panic when your phone experiences liquid or accidental damage, thanks to Mtn Device Insurance.
Just install the Mtn Device Insurance app, fill in the details and make payment, and experience the peace of mind that comes with knowing your device is insured as you continue to enjoy the most amazing 4G Plus experience only on Ghana's fastest network. Visit mtndeviceInsurance.com or download the MTN. We day for you everywhere you go.
Son, we are so proud of you for setting up this hospital. I really love those hospital beds and waiting chairs. By the way, did you import them?
No, Dad, I didn't. Actually,
give us expert advice on how to set up our office.
Guys, that makes 3 of us. I also got our sofa and bedroom sets, plus our dining hall furniture for our new home from Kingdom.
Wow, Mom, that makes 4 of us. I usually get my stationery items from Kingdom, and my teacher also mentioned that our classroom furniture was provided by Kingdom.
So there you have it. Whenever you're thinking about setting up an office or acquiring furniture for your home, etc., Kingdom Books and Stationery should be your first point of call. With over 40 years experience in the industry, we stock and supply a wide variety of globally sourced office and home furniture, stationery and equipment. Visit our head office, Osu Akwaje, or our office near the Osu Stadium. We're also in Tema Community 1, opposite Olam SHF, Kumasi KNUST campus, UCC Cape Coast, and now at the Marina Mall, Airport City. Or call us 0302 764101, 764209, or 762792. Visit our website www.kingdomgh.com.
Hope you have heard rent to own now in Ghana. The Plan City Extension Project Rent to Own Land and House Ownership Scheme by the Ningo Prampram District Assembly and its partners, supported by the Ministry of Local Government and Rural Development and the UN Habitat, are right here in Ghana. So be smart though, because where you trade and live really matters. Apply now and own a home or a fully serviced land. Wait a minute too. Don't forget to join our affiliate housing cooperatives also. Special offers last until 31st March 2021. Call us on 055 55 3300 or 0577 911101 and 055 7054 635. Website newaccra.city. Plant City Extension Project, shaping Ghana's urban future.
Allianz Insurance since 1890. At Allianz Life Ghana, we have a wide range of life insurance packages to suit all pockets, from individuals, groups, associations, and businesses. We cover your employees, your funerals, pensions, children's education, and your future. Call us on 0302 267 892 or visit our website www.alliance-gh.com for more inquiries. Alliance Life, we secure your future.
You welcome back to Business on Newsnight. Now, some interesting movement under the agri sector helped the economy post some marginal growth for last year in the midst of the pandemic. Total growth for 2020 went up by 0.4% over that of 2019. This was captured in the Ghana Statistical Services
sector recorded the highest growth of 8.2% in terms of its contribution to the overall growth. This was due to a lot of activities happening in the crops, cocoa percent. The sector did quite well despite the pandemic, as the numbers shows that it was only hotels, restaurants, professional administrative and support systems that contracted. Industry, on the other hand, posted a negative growth as challenges regarding mining and oil sectors affected its performance badly. However, in terms of sectoral composition, the data shows that we had a lot of activities and agric with 21%. Comparing to the last quarter of 2019, the data showed that the economy picked up strongly, growing by under 1% over that period. The performance was in line, now worth over 400 billion cedis in monetary terms.
Meanwhile, according to the Ghana Statistical Service, Ghana might be one of the few countries in the sub-region to record a positive growth for 2020. Meanwhile, economist Professor Peter Corte says he was rather looking forward to a more higher growth to be recorded for last year.
We were expecting a growth of 1% to 2% for 2020. So it's a bit surprising, but not too surprised because it's the oil sector that drove this negative growth rate. If you look at oil prices on the international market, I think demand hasn't picked up as much as possible, and therefore price of oil hasn't really picked up. So that significant growth of agri and the other sectors that are driving the growth process.
Professor Peter Corte is an economist. Now, the Minister for Food and Agriculture, Dr. Wusu Fiakoto, has allayed fears of Ghana's cocoa export being under threat. It follows news that China has ventured into that market as it has started exporting the bean. But the minister maintains that the quality of Ghana's bean gives it a strong edge over other countries. He's also been responding to the EU threat to ban Ghana's exports to that country.
Don't panic at all.
They've already exported.
Yeah, they exported 450 kilograms, not even 1 ton. Don't forget, Ghana produces 800, 900,000 metric tons. Cote d'Ivoire produces over 2 million metric tons. So that's nothing really, to worry about. And in any case, the quality of Ghana's cocoa is not matched anywhere else in the world. That is why the world market is prepared to pay 15, 20, sometimes 25% premium on the world market price for Ghana's cocoa.
How about the EU's recent hint about banning Ghana from exporting?
Well, because of this galamsey, we are destroying our environment, and the world is concerned about that, and they are saying that we as a government should do something about it. So for me, it's in the right direction.
And that was the Minister for Food and Agriculture, Dr. Wusu Fiakoto, speaking to Joy Business at an official ceremony to present a cash prize of 570,000 Ghana cedis to the 2020 National Best Farmer, Solomon Kusi, by ADB's Managing Director, John Kofi Mensah, as well as the Minister, together presenting that prize to Mr. Solomon Kusi. Now, the Finance Ministry is downplaying any negative impact of fresh taxes on petroleum products on the economy. Fuel prices are expected to go up from next month. Now, it follows the application of the 2021 budget taxing on each litre of fuel. But the Minister of State designate that the Finance Ministry, that is Charles Dubois, had told Joy Business that their projection is based on some assessment which shows that things might not be that bad.
We really had a big debate in 20 concerns at the time that it might lead to transportation price increases and inflation and so on. So that didn't happen. It got absorbed into the system because, in fact, one of the key drivers of increase in petrol price at the pump has been management of the city, because there's a huge component of the price at the pump that is embedded in the city depreciation. So any depreciation in the currency is passed on to the consumer in a deregulated market. Since we've managed to keep the cedi so stable, we have enjoyed some of the lowest crude prices or prices at the pump over the last 3-4 years. So depending on how astutely you manage the economy, you are able to add on a few pesos onto the price of fuel at the pump and still will not have that ripple effect in the economy.
Minister of State of the Finance Ministry designate Charles Edubwahini. And the Public Interest and Accountability Committee has kicked against the use of the annual budgeting funding amount in filling expenditure gaps in times of revenue shortfall in the budget. According to the committee, the practices rather poses a serious risk to the Ghana Stabilization Fund. Now, these recommendations were captured in the 2020 annual report, which reiterated the need for a long-term development plan as stipulated in the Petroleum Revenue Act. Professor Kwame Adom-Frimpong is chairman of the Public Interest and Accountability Committee.
You see, the surface renter has been in arrears for the past 3 years, 4 years, and it cannot be there. You see, and this payment of surface renter is where, when it is paid, we allocate some to the budget allocation, we allocate some to Heritage Fund, and we allocate part also to the Heritage Fund. And through all this thing that we build up, for example, during the COVID period, a lot of revenue went down, so the stabilizers are not paying the surface renter. The money at the Petroleum Holding Fund will get short.
Chairman of the Public Interest and Accountability Committee, Professor Kwame Adom-Frimpong. And that's all for business on Newsnight. Back to you, Emefa and Evans.
Thank you very much, George. Enjoy the rest of the evening. Let's do some of your messages at this point. It's via WhatsApp 055-1111-997. Wolanyo Inakwitia says NCA's plan to shut down 49 TV stations is quite bracing news, he says, and it shouldn't be a 9-day wonder to leave off the hooks to the escalation and further prevalence, he says. A lot of big English in there.
Cash Boyne, who says the insecurity in our country this time around is becoming too much. This is not how Ghana used to be. What is happening? Kofi says it is a welcoming news to hear that NCA has decided to crack the whip on TV stations who use their platforms to promote and perpetrate fraudulent acts on innocent Ghanaians. This move should not be a 9-day wonder.
Well, Nane Cromwell says the arrest of Nana Grada is a welcome news, and in fact, it's been long overdue. And the NDC, as a political party, has no shame at all after misleading their followers. They still have the gut to talk about stolen verdict, 2-in-1 statement or message there. And Shiftman in Atonsu says it's good that the final ministerial appointment is out, and I can only hope and pray that Parliament will have its full strength during parliamentary business.
Francis says Ghana is not doing well in COVID. That's a question he's asking there. Well, time for our Drive Safe campaign.
Safe driving saves lives. Drive safe.
And tonight, the controversial mandatory road towing levy could be back as part of measures to address accidents on the country's roads.
Ghana has in the last 3 months lost over 800 people through road accidents, and unattended broken down vehicles and trucks on the highways has been identified as one of the major causes.
But attempts to implement that law that mandates vehicle owners to pay an annual mandatory towing levy was met with fierce, protests, forcing governments to suspend it in 2017. But commercial transport owners today say they are in full support of the levy after a meeting with the Select Committee on Roads and Transport in Parliament, occasioned by a Jaw News documentary, Crashed, produced by Seth Kwame Boateng.
We can hear from the General Manager of VIP Transport Services, Frimpong Mansour Adakabre, and also the General Secretary of Image Transport, Andrew Kusikwache, and National Treasurer of Cargo Transport Association, Mohammed Tanko.
During the days of the mandatory towing levy, we allowed private vehicle users and the commercial vehicles' voice and that of the private vehicles' voice. So this is the time that commercial vehicle operators should go much on the highways, because they would encounter these challenges, these difficulties. And if it involves having to put something in the pool that reduces the cost of the work, let's do it and pay 80 cedis a month.
Well, I think maybe going forward, in principle, everybody agrees, but we have to do a lot of bigger consultation
with the stakeholders so that we can understand the proper way of going around it.
So we also, in principle, believe that the mandatory towing policy, it's something that would offer us some considerable respite from this carnage on our roads.
We have come up with a policy, and the policy is saying that if you tow your vehicle within a week, you must make appearance. If you don't do, there's a consequence. If you don't come after a month, and I think these were plain languages that everybody should have understand, that once your vehicle has been sent to a particular, you must follow up so that the plate do not even become choked. So there were all measures that were put in place so that we can get this system running. But again, because of one change of government, people mindset and everything also changed. That is why we were not able to put this policy into a working. But I think we can revisit it again and see.
Now, we can hear from the chairman of the Select Committee on Transport. They actually organized this viewing of the...
If they are contributing between 20, 30 CD or 80, maximum 200 CD, it is better than paying 3,000 and 2,500 for your vehicle to be towed anytime it is breaking down on the road. So I think I'm happy. And we as the committee, I think we will engage the ministry, especially the sector minister, on this matter. Now that the players, these are the key, part of the key stakeholders, one where they've got into, whether they have some issues. We will share the concerns that these transport operators have also raised with the ministry to see how we can push this forward, because we can no longer wait on this matter again. If you look at the lives that we are losing on our roads, I think if we are able to deal with this matter, the broken down vehicle, we need to make sure we bring some of these policies to ensure that we are able to contain the number of deaths that we are recording on our highways. Yes.
But this is just one part of the driving industry. We have the private sector as well, those who own their own vehicles. So if you have the commercial vehicles saying that we want the mandatory towing services, how are you going to ensure that you bring on board those who own their own vehicle? Because if I can recollect, most of the agitations came from people who drive their own vehicle. They thought that why should I pay for a towing service that I may not need after all?
Well, we will engage them. Government will engage them. The private people may want to commute within the urban, the rural, and peri-urban centers. They might not. Once in a while, they travel outside, so most of these, I share their concern that they don't care. But until you lose a loved one through this kind of, you will realize that it is something that all of us should buy in. Because I'm not sure paying 20, even the private car owners, those who have in private car, they were going to pay 20 cedis. Yeah. And 20 cedis a year. You cannot tell me that 20 cedis worth more than losing the lives of any human being. Okay. It can never happen. So I think we will engage them. The engagement is very important. We will engage them for them to understand.
So that's Kennedy Osenyako, the chairman of Parliament Select Committee on Transport. They're interacting with Elton John Brobe. Now let's do sports. Hans Mensah is here with us.
Hello, Emefa.
Hello, Hans.
Again, an grada is in place, Graves.
Why?
I was planning on going for Sika Gari.
Udine.
Well, Evans, do you know of any boxer from the Ashanti who, trained out of the Ashanti region?
No.
And the Volta region?
Emefa Apawu.
Emefa. Isaac Dogbe and them. You know all the boxers are from Bukom, right? When you mention Bukom, it's synonymous with boxing. And Brima Kamoko is calling authorities to cite some boxing gyms in other regions of the country. He made this call in an interaction with my colleague Nathaniel Lato.
Kumasi people like bossing too much. Kumasi people, they like bossing the same like Accra people. But you know, bossing day for Accra, only Accra bossing day. Well, me, I want any region, they open bossing gym there to teaching people because bossing, every boss are day for Accra, every boss are day for Accra. No boss are day Kumasi, no boss are day Cedro, no boss are day Cape Coast, no boss are. Kumasi people, they like bossing too much.
Yeah.
So that's Brahma Komoko, aka Bukom Banku, speaking there, urging authorities to cite boxing gyms in other parts of the country outside Accra. One of my favorite television stations.
Programs, okay.
And Ujaba TV. Ujaba.
Hans, thank you very much. Now, tonight it is imagined that less than 10 medical laboratories out of the over 2,000 we have in Ghana have obtained the International Standard Organization certification. Ghana adopted the ISO 15189 code in 2017 to ensure that laboratories in the country operate under in the country have obtained the certification. As a result of this, the Ghana Standards Authority has served notice that it will begin cracking the Lab West Africa Conference in Accra.
It's proud to 2017. The Ghana Health Service, the Standards Authority, together with support from the US CDC, decided that Ghana has not adopted the international standard for medical laboratory practice. It is called the ISO. Very few labs have been accredited to that level, which means that yes, they are in the process, but they haven't reached there. Practice is variable. Until you have them all accredited, you are going to get, shall we say, different results from different labs. Some are very high, some are very low, and that is not satisfactory. Since every health worker, that's the doctor, will make his or her decision on the lab results. The lab results should be consistent, because if you get it wrong, then everything is spots.
And then the question is, how many of them really have this certification?
Which have been accredited to the ISO 15189. It will be less than 10. Like, you have a lot of very well trained drivers, but they are yet to get their driving license. But obviously, for everybody, the driving license is the evidence. So right now, should Joy go out there and look for the laboratories with accreditation, you will not get any. So for us, enforcing standards. Indeed, what we are hoping is that very soon, when you go to a lab, since you are paying service which may not be the best. So we are just telling the country that we would enforce, and if it means going to court, we will go to court to enforce.
That's Alex told you there is the Director General of the Ghana Station. But the state did not oppose the application for bail when lawyers for Ekwepimpolo applied for the court to grant the actually known as Ekwepimpolo to 80,000 cedis bail with two sureties to be justified. According to the court presided by Justice Ruby Aite, the actress must report to the police twice every week and can only travel after the court has granted her permission to do so.
Well, the Accra Circuit Court last week handed the actress a 90-day jail term over naked pictures she posted on social media that it also involved her son. The sentence received mixed reactions across the country, with some describing it as harsh, while some were of the opinion that the sentence was just fair. Kwiku Asante has more in the following report.
According to and the gravity of the offences charged and the degree of revulsion felt by law-abiding citizens of this country for the crimes committed, the court said it took into consideration other mitigating factors, including the fact that Ekwepimpolo pleaded guilty to the offence, but on Wednesday, 21st April, an Accra High Court, the Criminal Division, admitted two sureties to be justified. Her lawyer, Andrew Votia, outlined the full bail conditions.
She's been getting bail in the sum of 80,000 cedis with two sureties. She's supposed to report to the police twice every week. And she's supposed to deposit her passport with the registrar of this honorable court and to seek the permission of the court before she can travel. And that's to be done by her lawyers. We have to apply formally by a motion to enable travel outside the country for a few days or a few months and come back. Bail pending appeal is an unusual process. Until the conviction is set aside or overturned, it's a good conviction. So it's an unusual process. But it can also be granted under special circumstances. When I went under first and young offender, the show of remorse, the guilty plea simplicity without wasting the court's time, and the welfare of the son, which the law seeks to protect.
Andrew Votia also noted they will follow the substantive appeal after serving the Attorney General's department.
But we are happy that the bail has been granted. But the main purpose is the appeal proper. This is just a temporary relief for her to be restored back to her former state she was before the conviction. We have filed our appeal process. Everything has been filed, written address has been made. So it is now with the Attorney General, we have served them, so they also study it. So we'll be waiting for them, for their response.
The application for bail was not opposed by the state, represented by senior state attorney Selasi Kuwonu in court. According to him, this is because the state had no control over the length of the appeal, which could travel beyond the 90 days jail sentence.
And that's the situation. That's where we are now. We've been talking about how she's going to raise that money. It remains to be seen. Because earlier, we know that there were some people who were already contributing for her to be, granted bail. But let's see how that pans out. And that's it for tonight's edition of Newsnight. MyJoyOnline.com and stories making the headlines. NCA to shut down 49 TV stations for operating without license. And also murder suspect claims he mistook aeronautical engineer for a pig at a
and then also certify your COVID-19 corruption risk assessment, or we will use it as toilet paper. That's Esla Owusu-Ekofo to the CDA there. People are reading that. And Marco Krekumante, appointed Deputy Minister Designated for Tourism, Arts and Culture. You're also reading that. And then finally, suspect who slit throat of girlfriend in home, remanded in police custody.
Strong and sassy with Inimwa Inimado is up next. Evans, let's go out there and box.
The boxer from the Volta region, Emefa Apawu, aka what's that?